Every night, he dreamed of the same woman. He never knew her name, but he knew her presence. In his dreams, she felt more real than the life he lived awake. Until one night, the dream followed him into reality. What if the person you've been searching for has been searching for you too? This is a story about love that begins in dreams and demands courage in the waking world. Because some dreams aren't meant to escape reality. They're meant to teach you how to wake up.
If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps keep these stories alive. Thank you for being here.
Leo's life was quiet in the way a room becomes quiet after the door has been closed for too long. At 31, he lived alone in a modern apartment overlooking the city. Clean lines, neutral colors, nothing that hinted at who he truly was. His days followed a precise rhythm: wake up, commute, work, return, sleep. He spoke when necessary, smiled when expected, and avoided questions that went too deep. But every night, another life began. The dream always arrived gently. No abrupt images, no fear, just her. She stood in places that felt suspended between worlds, train platforms with no arrivals, streets washed in moonlight, rooms glowing with a soft golden haze. She never introduced herself, never explained why she was there. Yet Leo felt it instantly: recognition, comfort, a sense of home he had never known while awake. When morning came, the dream didn't fade like others did. It stayed, lingering in his chest, shaping his silence, making the waking world feel thinner, less real. Leo told himself it was harmless. Everyone dreamed, everyone escaped. But deep down, he knew the truth. His real life felt like the dream, and his dream felt like the truth. One night, something changed. The familiar setting dissolved faster than usual, and for the first time, she stepped closer. Close enough that Leo could see the small details, the way her eyes reflected light, the quiet sadness she carried without showing it. She reached out. Her fingers brushed his hand. The warmth was undeniable, physical, real. Leo woke up gasping, his heart pounding, his hand still raised in the dark. The sensation hadn't vanished. It lingered like a memory that refused to be dismissed. That morning, he couldn't focus. The city felt louder, sharper, more distant. Every reflection in glass made him pause. Every passing face felt like a missed answer. That night, before sleep claimed him again, Leo whispered into the silence, "Who are you?" The dream had stopped being a refuge. It had become a summons. Fear arrived disguised as reason. Leo told himself it was unhealthy, dangerous. Confusing dreams with reality was how people lost themselves, how they broke something that could never be fixed again. So he tried to stop it. He stayed up late, scrolling endlessly, exhausting his mind. He drank more coffee, changed his sleep schedule. He filled his apartment with noise, music, podcasts, anything to drown out the quiet. But exhaustion only made the dreams stronger. Every night, she waited, not impatient, not accusing, just there. And every morning, waking felt like a small loss. Leo began to dread sleep and crave it at the same time. He told no one. How could he? There were no words for missing someone who had never existed. "I'm imagining her," he said aloud once, gripping the sink. "I have to be." Yet the thought brought no comfort, because imagination had never felt this alive. The mentor appeared on a late train home. The car was nearly empty, rain streaking down the windows, the city blurring into reflections. An older man sat across from Leo, calm, observant, eyes sharp with curiosity rather than judgment. "You look tired," not the kind of tired sleep fixes. Leo gave a hollow smile. I don't sleep well. The man studied him for a moment. Do you dream? Too easily, Leo answered. Too much. The man nodded, as if that explained everything. Dreams don't always come to distract us, said the man. Sometimes they come to remind us of something we've forgotten. And if you follow them? Leo asked quietly. The man smiled. Then you wake up. The doors opened. The man stepped off. Leo never saw him again. But the words stayed.
The threshold came without warning. A mandatory work trip. A city only an hour away. Nothing special, just another obligation Leo would normally endure without thought. But the night he arrived, a storm hit. Trains delayed, platforms crowded, time stretched. And then he saw her. Not across a dreamscape, across the platform. The same eyes, the same presence, the same impossible sense of recognition. For a moment, Leo couldn't breathe. She turned, their eyes met. The world seemed to narrow, as if everything else had stepped aside. She looked just as shocked as he felt. This wasn't a dream. There was noise, cold air, the smell of rain, the weight of reality pressing in. And yet, she was real. In that instant, Leo understood. There was no going back to the life he had before. Whatever waited ahead, fear, love, loss, truth, he had already crossed the line. They didn't rush toward each other. That was the strangest part. Leo and Maya stood on opposite sides of the platform, separated by a few meters of concrete and years of disbelief. Around them, people moved, complained, checked their phones, unaware that something fragile and impossible was unfolding. When they finally spoke, their voices were cautious, as if saying too much might shatter the moment. "You look like you've seen a ghost," Maya said softly. Leo exhaled a breath he felt he'd been holding for years. "I think I found my dream." They talked through the delay, through the storm, through the night. Names, lives, small details. Each discovery felt like a test, every similarity both thrilling and terrifying. They finished each other's sentences, recognized places neither had ever visited awake. The enemy wasn't the world, it was doubt. What if they were projecting? What if this was coincidence wearing a beautiful disguise? Still, they kept talking, because something inside them already knew the truth.
The closer they grew, the more fear crept in. One evening, sitting across from each other in a quiet cafe, Leo finally said what had been haunting him. "What if we only exist like this because we're lonely?" The words landed heavily between them. Maya looked down at her cup, fingers tightening. "I've asked myself the same thing," she admitted. "What if we're safer as a dream than as something real?" Silence followed. Not empty, heavy. This was the ordeal. Not a dramatic rupture, but a choice between illusion and vulnerability. To love her meant risking disappointment. To step away meant losing something that felt like destiny. That night, the dreams returned, stronger, brighter, but now they felt different, like a goodbye. Maya spoke first. "I've dreamed of you since I was 20, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You were always there when I felt lost." Leo's chest tightened. "So was I," he said. The reward wasn't certainty, it was honesty. They didn't promise forever, they didn't label what they were becoming, they simply acknowledged the truth they had been circling around for years. Love wasn't magic, it was recognition. And for the first time, Leo understood. The dreams hadn't given him love, they had prepared him for it.
Life resumed its demands. Work schedules, distance, responsibilities. The real world reclaimed its space. Leo returned home. Maya stayed behind. Messages replaced long conversations. Silence tested them again. And then the dreams stopped. No transitions, no explanations, just sleep. At first, Leo panicked. He felt abandoned, cut off from the place where he had always found her. But slowly, another realization took hold. He didn't need the dreams anymore. They had done their work. Now came the harder part, choosing her without guarantees. Weeks later, another storm rolled in. Leo didn't wait for sleep this time. He packed a bag, boarded a train, and stood outside Maya's door with nothing but courage and exhaustion in his chest. When she opened the door, surprise flashed across her face, then relief. "I don't want to find you in dreams anymore," Leo said, his voice steady despite the fear. "I want to choose you while I'm awake." Maya's eyes filled with tears. This was his resurrection, not becoming someone new, but finally becoming whole. Years later, Leo still dreamed, but the dreams were different now. Ordinary, gentle, filled with memories instead of longing. The elixir he carried back into the world wasn't love alone, it was presence. He had learned that some dreams aren't meant to be escaped into. They are meant to guide you toward the life you're afraid to live. And every morning, waking beside Maya, Leo smiled at the simple miracle of it all. He no longer needed sleep to find her. He had chosen her awake.
If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. It truly supports the channel and helps more stories find their way to the right hearts.